Hello, everyone. Welcome back to this week's episode of Youth Alive. We are so excited to have you guys here. So sit back, relax, and maybe grab a little snack and enjoy. And remember, we are Youth Alive.
So I'm gonna go to the restroom and then we'll get going on that Youth Alive episode, alright?
Okay guys, so I'm gonna be taking over this segment for Youth Alive. Okay guys, so today, and didn't you know, we're gonna be talking about streets.
Jose, where are you?
Did you know that in America there was enough roads built to go around the world 150 times? Did you know that the most used street name is 2nd Street, and the second most used is 3rd Street, and the third most used is 1st Street? Did you know that there was a road in Idaho that is named Chicken Dinner Road? Did you know that stop signs used to be a black-shaped diamond, but one day a police officer cut the two edges of the diamond, and that's why it looks like the shape it does today? Did you know that there was a street in Wilton, New York that is named Anyhow Lane? Did you know that in Canada there is a street named This, That, and the Other Street? I think they just ran out of names. Well, I ran out of facts, but that's all the facts I have for today. And remember that we are Youth Alive.
Man, here was my phone.
Hey guys, today I'm here in Austin, Texas, and today I want to show you something very nice that I found here in this beautiful town. So for today in Hidden Gems, I'm going to show you the Oasis. Check this out. So this is the place, the Oasis. Yeah, it's actually a restaurant. It's not like Universal Studios, it's not Disney, it's a restaurant. Yeah, there is a line to get in, so it means it's very good. We'll see. Alright, I have not really good news for y'all guys. I will have to wait 1 hour and 30 minutes so I can get food. Yeah, the waiting time is 1 hour and 30 minutes. It's kind of crazy, but I will show you why. So this is the reason why everybody wants to come here. As you can see, this restaurant has a beautiful view of Lake Travis. It's the perfect place to come with your family or friends. So imagine yourself with a beautiful crawfish in front of you, with a large lemonade with a lot of ice, and with your family around you enjoying the view of a beautiful Sunday in this place. Is there a better plan than this here in Austin? I don't think so. And if you love sunsets like I do, this is the perfect place for you. Alright y'all, so we are leaving right now the Oasis. Oh, it was beautiful. It was very nice. The view, as you can see in the video, in the segment, perfect, beautiful. The food is a little bit pricey, little over $20 per person, so it's nothing really expensive, but it's not cheap at all. Alright, we're leaving. I hope you enjoyed. I will catch you all later. And remember, we are, even with expensive food, we are Youth Alive.
Hi, guys, and welcome to the segment entitled Pick of the Week. Now, I thought a lot about spring break, as some of us like to travel all around the world, but other of us prefer to stay at home.
which is why I thought, what better way is there to share about our home than to share about our family members, specifically our pets? That's right. For this pick of the week, we're going to share pictures of our Youth Alive pets, specifically our dogs. So here are some pictures of our furry friends. So there you guys have it. That has been our pick of the week. And remember that we are Youth Alive.
Hello, Youth Alive, and welcome to this week's segment of Upgrade, a place where we can learn a little bit more about what God has said for each and every one of us, thus receive an upgrade. Today, we are going to be talking about when life falls apart, how do you pray? When life falls apart, how do you pray? Prayer is a powerful tool that we can use, right? So we can go through our sufferings, so we can go through our pains. And when other people tell you that they're going through something difficult in their lives, we often tend to say, hey, we're gonna be praying for you, I'll be praying for you, man. I hope that things work out. But whenever we go through the sufferings, whenever we go through the pain, how do we pray? Do we pray just because it's something that we have to do? Or do we actually believe in the power of prayer? And that's exactly what we're going to be talking about today. Okay? And for that, we're going to learn about Paul, right? You guys remember Paul. Paul is a very cool guy that we can learn a lot from. And through him, we're going to learn about pain and suffering. And we're going to see through his example, right, how can we approach suffering and pain. Okay? So we're going to go ahead and read 2 Corinthians 12, verses 7 to 10. Even though I have received such wonderful revelations from God, so to keep me from becoming proud, I was given a thorn in my flesh, a messenger from Satan to torment me and keep me from becoming proud. 3 different times I begged the Lord to take it away. Each time he said, "My grace is all you need. My power works best in weaknesses." So now I am glad to boast about my weaknesses so that the power of Christ can work through me. That's why I take pleasure in my weaknesses and in the insults, hardships, persecutions, and troubles that I suffer for Christ. For when I am weak, then I am strong. Okay, so the first approach is we can pray to escape suffering. To escape. We can pray to escape suffering. Okay, that's one approach, right? Paul, in verse 8, tells us that he prayed not once, not twice, but 3 times. 3 freaking times, okay? He prayed 3 times for his suffering to be removed. 3 times. And that's when we can learn that God didn't take away that suffering. He didn't. So with this approach, we may be thinking that in order for us to escape suffering, then we must do good deeds. We must do what is right so that God can give us what we want. The thing about this approach is that what happens whenever God doesn't give you that? What happens whenever you pray to God not once, not twice, but 3 times, and He says no? I'll tell you what's going to happen. What's going to happen is that we're going to become bitter against Him because He hasn't given us what we want Him to give us. Because things are not going to be the way that we want them to be. So with this approach of us trying to escape suffering, we're not going to learn, we're not going to grow, we're not going to mature. So that is the first approach. Our second approach is that we can pray to endure suffering, to endure suffering. Now, Paul was a courageous man, right? And he was also very strong. He had a lot of inner strength, right? So he could have learned just to endure the suffering, right? But with this approach, there are a series of problems, right? The first one is that not everyone has that kind of strength. Some of us have more strength than others. And we can't just say, oh, just be strong, just be strong and endure whatever it is that you're going through. For some, it may be easy, but for others, it may not be very easy. Now, another problem with this approach is that it glorifies men and it doesn't glorify God. Okay, and that's also a big issue, right? Because we're gonna say, oh, I survived this. It's because of me. It's because of my strength. It's because of my strength. Because I did it. But the reality is that we have to live life to glorify Him, not to glorify men. Okay. Now another problem is that we only have so much strength. We only have so much inner strength. So at a given point, we're going to burn out. And at a given point, we're going to give up. So that also doesn't help. And another problem is that we can put a front to others, right? So we may seem as if we have so much strength. But when no one is there, we can see exactly who we are and how we're so weak and how we just can't go through the suffering. Okay, so that is the second approach. As our third approach, we can pray to enlist our suffering and make it work for us. This is it. This is the approach that we need to take. Now, God actually answered to Paul, right? And when God answered to Paul, He told him to make his suffering His servant. That's right. To make use of His suffering as a tool for strength. Now, in order for us to do that, we need to enlist our suffering, right? And we're going to have to, number one, accept this suffering as God's gift. Because that's what it is. Because it is a gift that God has given us so that we can be better. So that we can be stronger. Right? As number two, we must surrender what He has given us and so we can give it to Him. Okay? As number three, we must listen for His message. Right? Whenever we're going through a difficult situation, yes, we have to pray. But we also need to ask for Him to talk to us, to tell us what it is that we need to do. We need to listen to what He has to say. Even if that means that it's not what we want to hear. Okay? And as number four, we must live to glorify God. Right? We cannot live to glorify ourselves, to do things because we're going to look really good. No. We live life so that He looks good, so that we can glorify Him. Okay? So when we ask God to enlist our suffering, we are asking Him for His strength through our weaknesses. Right? So that ultimately we are relying completely on Him and His will. Okay? So, as a recap for today, prayer is a powerful tool through our pain and through our suffering. Let's make use of it. It is a gift that God has given us so that we can live through that suffering, through that pain. Okay? Number 2, how we pray matters. Okay? So we must pray to enlist our suffering so that we can have His strength through our weaknesses. And as number 3, we must use prayer to do God's will through our suffering and rely completely on Him. Okay? Alright guys, so that's it for today's segment. I hope that you'll enjoy as much as I did. And remember that we are Youth Alive.
Thank you guys so much for watching this week's episode. We are always so excited to have you guys here. Don't forget to follow our Instagram and our Twitter, for we are here every Wednesday at 7 p.m. And remember, we are Youth Alive.